Hi everyone. I wanted to make this video for some hints for the final project, just to make sure that everyone feels a little more comfortable. So if you successfully did your to-do list, I don't have the form to actually push it into the page, but you should get something like this where you've got a list. It doesn't have to be a numbered list, but so for some tips. There's two ways to do this. One is where you kind of just use JavaScript to manipulate the HTML, and you're not really keeping track of anything in your JavaScript. And that method's fine. This is a pretty simple application. But for a better way, and one that would be probably easier, it's a little harder to wrap your head around at first, but it ends up being a lot easier, is to keep everything based inside JavaScript and then put it on the page. So here's the JavaScript that makes that page. All of my to-dos are in an array. So what happens is that every time you add a to-do, you're pushing it into the array, right? And so, if I added a new to-do, I would type it into the input field, hit the submit button, and then maybe a new to-do gets pushed into the array. Then you build your template, and then you set the inner HTML, and that will happen every single time you push a new to-do, so that basically doing this basically clears out what was on the HTML before and replaces it. So everything inside of the array is a one-to-one with what appears on the page, because every time you push a new to-do into to-dos, after hitting the submit, you build a template and you put it on the page. Real simple. And that's kind of the way most modern applications work nowadays. You don't really want to just kind of append, and you could, but the idea is you clear out basically everything in that OL every single time and then remake it, because it's so fast. It isn't really inefficient. So in terms of the final project, it's based, if you have the form assessment working in this way, you're already kind of 50% there. The next piece you're going to have to do is, instead of just appending a to-do like this, you'll want to have some little kind of like buttons. So maybe like a span with a little X in it, and maybe a button that says complete, so that let me space it out just a little bit. You probably make this a button too, actually. It doesn't really matter what order you do, but the idea is that when you when they appear on the page, they have a little X and a little complete. So that's what's nice about building a template. You can just add more to your template. And you'll need to add some sort of unique ID to each of these, so that every time you add a submit, you're also going to add click event listeners that will grab the X and will grab the complete, and add functions that will either delete the to-do that you clicked on. So if I click on X, it'll delete this whole line and only have those other three. Or when I click the complete, it might do something like add a check, add a cross out the text. That's kind of your choice. And if you do it via state, what you could do instead of having text like this is have something along the lines of an array or an array of objects. So like you'd have an object, a complete, that shouldn't have quotes, and that would be the same for all of these. And then rather than then you could have some sort of indicator like complete that you could, when you build your template, indicates that this is complete in some way. And maybe something like this, you'll have to do .complete, and then add like a class that says cross out else nothing. So if we were to do that to the rest of them, almost done. So now I have two to-dos that are complete, one that is incomplete, and basically what this is saying is if a to-do is complete, give it a class of crossout, else give it an empty string. I want this to be to-do.name, and I'll add a quick CSS style sheet, or you could add a style tag, and you could add something like li text decoration line through, or sorry, I said cross out, so cross out class. So this says look for elements with a cross out class and put a line through them. And so I think that should maybe I'm crazy. Did I put the right class? Cross out. Dot cross out line through. It's not adding my it's not adding my style sheet style.css. Pause real quick. Sorry. So I had my style.css outside of my folder, which is why it wasn't working. So this adds a style of text decoration line through to every li with the crossout class, and these are complete. So you see that they've got a line through them. So the idea is when you click the complete button, you could do something like that where you toggle this crossout class, and that's kind of done via, you could do a little bit of conditional logic in there, and so let's see, but that will need to be done on the click event for the complete button, and the click event for the X button would just do something like delete a this selected to do. So you might do something like this, where you where so to delete a specific one, you could do something like this, where you grab the to-dos and splice. So the splice method takes an index, so 0, 1, 2, 3. So if we deleted walk the dog, we'd say splice 1, and then comma, the second argument is how many you want to delete. So I want to delete 1. And now that will be deleted. Now you see walk the dog isn't there. And that key, this is something that you want to do inside your your delete button click event. So you want to somehow be able to grab that and delete it. You could, if you don't want to do all that stuff with state, you could just figure out how to, when you click it, grab the parent of the X button, which is this li, and say, hey, grab this li and just add a crossout class, or add an extra X as a text to indicate it's complete, or check mark, or just delete it from the page. So you don't have to use this method where you keep track of everything in JavaScript, but it ends up being pretty nice because you have a lot of control in JavaScript that you don't quite have in HTML, and code ends up being neat. You know, this is only a few lines of code. So, and then let's see. So that's all I got. Thank you so much.